Okay, here we are with another vintage cube draft. Right off the top, I see Emrakul, and I'm like, oh, so there's so many good things in this pack. There's Ancestral Vision, Force of Negation, both great cards. Kulgan Campaign is decent. Path as a sort of removal. The Lana War Elves if you really want to go green. Pyromancer, Brazen Bar is great. A lot of good blue, but I go with Emrakul, and here's why I go with Emrakul. Because if I know Emrakul is my first pick, you can go Sneak Attack / Through the Breach. You can go Shallow Grave / Corpse Dance / Makeshift Mannequin. You can go Show and Tell / Eureka. You can go Raphaelos or just Nissa, some sort of big. There's so many ways to get to it, and then Emrakul to stop because it's Annihilator 6. It's just so powerful. So I of course I see the Emrakul. It's a big speculation, and that you might not grab any payoffs, and then these solid blue cards. I would hate myself, but I go, you know what? Hey, let's do big things. Why not? So here I am just debating that. Boo, boo, boo. And time for the punchline. Immediately channel. Immediately rewarded with channel. The combo. Oh, the combo. What else is here? There's Reanimate and Duress. Both amazing. Bergby, Grivlon Lancer, Batterskull. But I get the combo. And now I'm like, I know what the basis of my deck is. So I have the two cards that I want to be playing. I just need ways to find them. So anything that lets me search my deck for creatures or instants and sorceries. Any other ways to play Emrakul would be great. So that I know what my deck is in the first two cards. It's very lucky that I didn't have to wait till pack 2 or 3 to get the channel. Because I could have gone the sneak attack route or whatever and not even been playing green. And then you get channel and you're like, oh, do I splash it now? Blah. This keeps up. You know what? I will speed it up. 1 second. Play back. Since it's going so slowly. Playback. Speed. Faster. Playback. Speed. Faster. Playback. Speed. Faster. Now we're going 3x. And now I'll make it full screen. Okay. Yeah, so it took these other people a lot longer to find what they wanted. Here, there's Brainstorm and Commit. Brainstorm helps me find what I want. Memory also. But I'm trying to do this fast, so I just grabbed the Arbor Elf. Both for a ramp strategy and because if I don't have necessarily 2 green, if I have like green and what are my other colors, blue or black. Black for tutors, blue for draw spells to help me draw these 2 cards. The Arbor Health helps me get 2 green on turn 2 more consistently. So here, I'm like, ooh, there's Bribery, which would be amazing. Vorinclex, Liliana, but it just Makeshift Mannequin. Makeshift Mannequin was another one of those cards. It works with Emrakul. It gives me another way to use this ridiculous card that I've drafted. So I just go straight for Makeshift Mannequin. I'm going back and forth to show that. So now I need ways to find these cards and a discard outlet so I can use Makeshift on Emrakul. And then immediately after, how lucky can I be? It's Putrid Imp. It's a turn 1 discard outlet. So very happy here. Otherwise, Sphinx is good, Thirst is good, Damnation's good. Rattlemancer is great. It's been being passed around way late. Winter Orb is good for disruption. Smuggler's Copter is great as well. But yeah, I just grabbed the Putrid Imp. And now, Shallow Grave, Corpse Dance, those are also cards that can let me speed out this Emrakul. Nothing really here for me, so I grabbed the Toxic Deluge as sort of protection. So Survival is so good here. Not only does it help me find the Emrakul, but if I need to discard it, it allows me to discard it. So 100% it's Survival. What am I going to grab? Woe Strider? Blah. So there's a thought to the Nature's Claim, but I like making true Glass Cannon decks, especially when I have the cannon is this powerful. So I just go for Manamorphose. It helps me find the black if I need it. Helps me find the second green. Like if I have black and green out and I need the 2 green for channel, Manamorphose fixes that problem. That's a spoiler alert to a head when a really weird interaction with that happens. So Nature's Claim is great protection, but I'm going to go Manamorphose. Dark Confidant, I want to have a 15 drop. Not the best. Also slow. Here, it's just Massacre Worm in case I have more Reanimate spells. Once again, here's Downfall is good. counterplay, but I'm going all active, none reactive. I grab Tasigur, not going to play it probably. So now it's between Assassin's Trophy and that Heartless Act. I grab Assassin's Trophy because it deals with Planeswalkers as well. It deals with any threats. I have my dual land that I need. Great. Happy to see it. Nothing for me here, but Rabble Master coming this late, it just has to be a mistake. It's so strong. If you can, like... It's so strong. It's so... I don't... People have been hating on it. Like, I've been getting it, like... I've been seeing it, like, second, third to last pick, like, every single draft now. And I don't think that's correct. So here, not a lot for me. There's Elves, which is good because it's, you know, it's a mana dork that gives me the other side, the black mana. And then other than that, like, maybe Inkwell if I do the reanimate stuff. Here, Bayou would be amazing. I love me a Bayou. Oh, go on down to the Bayou. But Owner's Prowler not only is another discard outlet for my Emrakul, but I can discard it to Survival and get the Emrakul. It's like if Emrakul is the only creature in my deck, then Survival is functionally useless except to discard it when I already have it. So here, a lot of things I can get. I get Fatal Push if I want some protection. Heartbeat if my backup plan is to cast the Emrakul. But I go with the Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze is a great counter active card. It's good against Reanimate. It's good against Burn. With Survival of the Fittest, my deck becomes a toolbox deck in that I can use any creature to find the Scavenging Ooze if it's a matchup where I need it. Probably going to sideboard it, but it's good to have it. There are a lot of times against Mono Red when if you can get the Scavenging Ooze up to like a 7/7, you've already gained 5 life, and you have the biggest thing on the board. Like, you win. And because I have Survival, I can throw every additional creature into my graveyard just as fuel for the Scavenging Ooze once I get it out. So here, a lot of routes, different routes I can go. So I can go Bazaar, which is a discard outlet and lets me draw cards, but it is slow in that when you play it, you're missing a land drop that turn. So if I'm going to be trying to Makeshift Mannequin, I can't Bazaar Makeshift Mannequin until turn 5. Maybe turn 4 if I have a mana dork, but it's so slow, so I'm like, I don't want to do that. Bitter Blossom is great, slow value, but once again, slow. I don't want to. People win so fast in Vintage Huge. I don't want to be doing slow things. Regrowth is interesting because let's say I use my channel and they counterspell it or whatever. Is a way to try to like get a second blast from my glass cannon. So I'm like, but I tend to not like Regrowth because if you've already played your best card and you haven't won, then it's like doing it again, it's just questionable. Although Regrowth is a great card. It just doesn't really fit my play style. Walking Ballista is interesting to me because it's another potential. I can like channel for 18, play a 9/9 Ballista, and then hopefully win with that. And then there's Night's Whisper, which is a good draw spell. I go with the Night's Whisper, I believe. I'm like, oh, Walking Ballista. I just grab the Night's Whisper. I'm looking for this like as many chances at drawing the channel and the Emrakul or the Survival, so that helps. Here, there's not a lot. There's like nothing really for me. The Yavimaya Elder, by the same token, like gets me the most cards if I'm missing channel or Emrakul. Here, on second thought, there is Karn. I probably should have grabbed Karn as another channel target. Primal Command is great. It's sort of like to gain life, find a creature, but it's slow. And then Devoted Druid lets me cast things. I do Devoted Druid for in the case like I need to like play Devoted on turn 2. On turn 3, you like channel, use the Devoted to play the Survival 1 green, use the other green to discard something, find the Emrakul, and then play it. It basically gives you a lot of green, and also if I have like a natural order or whatever, it allows me to ramp up to it. So here, there's not a lot. I mean, I can go with the Sphinx if I want to reanimate it, the Languish for protection. I go with the top just because like it is a way to get the cards that I need. Here, once again, Eternal Witness, the same argument goes with the Regrowth, except for the fact that it can also be pitched to Survival. I just grab Plow Under as sort of counterplay because you can shut people down with Plow Under, or buy myself a lot of turns to get that channel Emrakul. Also, if I Emrakul wipe you, and I know your next 2 draws are just lands, it's sort of like, it's a safety net. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to win now. So here I just grab Inkwell. Inkwell is one of the best Makeshift Mannequin targets because, like, the downfall from Makeshift Mannequin is that they target your creature, and that causes you to sacrifice it. But Inkwell cannot be targeted. So, like, There's no downside. It's all upside. I grab it just in case. Here, I'm just grabbing like kind of, you know, control protection spells that I'm probably not going to play. Although Casualties of War, when you get it off, and like, oh boy, it destroys. Chillin', chillin', chillin'. Here I am, just chillin', chillin'. Here, it's just the bazaar. It's interesting that Kiki is this late. Nothing here for me. I grabbed the I'm just grabbing like, I kind of have like a backup speed red deck with all these red cards I'm grabbing, which is interesting. So I keep grabbing them in case I want like a weird transformative sideboard. Guys, you never know. I could do like a green-red speed deck. So, here, lots of things. Shallowgrave, I want it. I'm going to pick it. Eureka, also not so bad with the strategy that I'm doing. So it's like, oh, there's Mastermind's Acquisition, which does let me find anything, but it's a little slow. So I'm not big on it. Some good lands. Rakdos Return, Gideon, Leovold is a whole deck strategy of the draw sevens. Cryptic, Bloodbraid with the new Valky / Tybalt combo. I just go for Shallow. I'm debating between Eureka and Shallowgrave. I go for Shallowgrave. It's cheaper. Love it. And Eureka has a chance to backfire. So here, oh, I see that Gristlebrand. I immediately want it. Oh, I want that Gristlebrand so bad. Do reanimate things. It lets you reanimate, and then make sure you set up for the second reanimate. But I have Channel, which only makes colorless mana. So I'm like, if I grab this Ulamog, then I have a better chance of like mulliganing down to Channel and Big Thing for Channel. So I go Ulamog, even though it hurts my heart. Gristlebrand is so good. Once again, I'm more than just a reanimate deck. Channel is actually better than reanimate because Shallowgrave, I only get one attack with it. Makeshift Mannequin, these things have weaknesses. Although Emrakul, it's mitigated by its protection. So, looking at this, Green Sun Zenith, great. I don't really have a good silver bullet other than Scavenging Ooze to find with it, but it's still a great, use my deck as a toolbox. Little Karn, Dragonlord Atarka is like, oh, this could be castable with a little bit of alterations, but Imperial Seal lets me find, like if I have Channel Imperial Seal or Emrakul and Imperial Seal, then I can find the other piece of the combo. So, grab an Imperial. That's why I kind of knew I was going into green and black. It's not my first rodeo. Yeah. So here, this Guy's Cradle, I don't have that many creatures really. I have like 2 mana, 1 mana dorks, a few like second turn drops, and it's gonna make like 2-3 mana at most. Not ideal. Strip Mine, I'm trying to win before I plan to Strip Mine to really like nail it to you. There's the Avacyn's Pilgrim, but it makes an off-color mana source, which I don't really need. So I just go Recurring Nightmare because I do have a few, and I also have the Leviathan in my sideboard. So it's like I do have some Recurring Nightmare targets. That gives me another backup plan. So here, I'm looking at like, oh, Oracle for value, but it's late game value. I don't plan for the games to last that long. Grim Monolith, great if I want to Makeshift Mannequin. Not good if I'm doing the channel plan. Crucible, right after seeing a Strip Mine, I'm like, oh no, I could have had another combo. Coalition Relic, always good. I think it's funny that this pack has Splinter Twin, Conscripts, and Pestermite. Like, oh, someone is, probably because that Kiki Jiki made it third to last. Like, no one's drafting this deck right now. But I go with the Gargaroth as like, maybe if my main plan doesn't work, Gargaroth is a way to like turn the game around. It can win games by itself, and it won't be too hard for me to cast with a little bit of the mana dorks that I have. I see Entomb, I grab Entomb. Allows me to use my whole deck as a toolbox. With it and Shallowgrave, I have a 3 mana backup plan to get Emrakul, even if I don't have it. So now it's like I can draw a Channel and either any of my Drawsies. I can draw Imperial Seal and either one of those pieces, Channel or Ulamog or in my Eldrazi. I can draw Entomb and Shallowgrave. I can draw a Shallowgrave and Imperial Seal, Entomb and Imperial Seal. Like the more things I get like this that allow me to search through my library, the higher the combination that I'm gonna have a guaranteed combo in my opening hand. So it's like it's getting to the point where I'm like near deterministic almost. So here, this hurts my heart. I think 100% I should be grabbing Corpse Dance here. The pick should be Corpse Dance. Not only do I have both Entomb and Survival and Imperial Seal to find whatever creature I need, but it's like Kozilek is the weakest of the Eldrazi in that it can be killed, it can be targeted. It has one of the smallest annihilators, so it's like but you have two Eldrazi's. You have an opportunity to pick up the final original Eldrazi. Like, I can't. I just, my heart was like, I got to keep the siblings together. 100% you should take Corpse Dance in this position. 100%. Yeah, I'm even like, come on, William, be smart. I'm like, nope, not going to be smart. I'm going to be fun. And then I see yet another Eldrazi, and I'm like, well, I went for 3. Why not go for 4? And then I see Eureka, and I'm like, okay, it's all coming together. Wishclaw Talisman. So Wishclaw Talisman is great in this deck, in the fact that, like, if I'm Wishclawing for Channel Emrakul, doesn't matter that I give you the Talisman, as long as I do it the same turn. Because the Annihilator is probably going to make you sacrifice all of your permanents, including the Talisman. So you won't get to use it. So there's no downside. I grabbed the Green Sun Zenith. It'll allow me to get Gargroth. It'll allow me to get a Mana Dork. Scavenge Juice if I need it. I get another Mana Dork, and now I'm pretty set up for this deck. You know, I'm amped. All the Splinter Twin cards are like last, which I don't agree with. I just posted a video where I did the Splinter Twin thing. It's powerful, like especially because you can also play blue counterspells. Like it can sort of beat this Glass Cannon, I think. So we're thinking about, but that's a whole other deck. I take out the Bazaar because I'm like, it's just too slow. And I have enough combos without it. Take out all the red and the, like, Tassiger, things that I don't need like that. Any sort of protection as well. I take out all my, you know, Toxic Deluges, any value that isn't the combo, like Yavimaya, Elder, take out the Liliana, yeah, O-Stone. I'm just like, I can sideboard these things in. Scavenging Ooze as well, even though it is very powerful. And I'm like, okay, I don't need the poopy Mana Dork. I don't need this Massacre Worm either, even though right now I do have Recurring Nightmare. Like, Massacre Worm is only good in some matchups, so it won't begin the game. And now I'm like, do I really need this Recurring Nightmare if I don't have that many targets for it? Like, I can't Recurring Nightmare my 3 Eldrazi. What should I do? I decided to keep it, just because I have the Gargaroth. I have the other Emrakul, and once again, I can find whatever creature I want with my survival. So I'm like, it's another combo piece. Let's do this. And I do put in the Bazaar. I think because I have the Mana Dorks, I'm like, I can sacrifice 1 land, and with the Shallow Grave, it is correct. But I think I have enough combo pieces where I'm not gonna have to worry about it. I can probably mulligan down to 5 and be good most games. Because I was lucky in draft and I drafted well. This deck is a nightmare for opponents, as you will soon. As you will see soon, I'm eating peaches. I'm eating peaches, and that's not a euphemism. Here we go. That's me with some programs. I'm at the same time I'm doing some. So this hand I can't keep. I have Kozilek, and I could try to like Bazaar to my second piece, but it's slow, and I'm like, I can do better than this. I go down once again. I don't have any green. I'm like, I'm willing to go down to 4 if I can go better than this. Okay, great. So here, I have the Wishclaw, and I have Entomb, so I can Wishclaw for Shallow Grave, or I can Wishclaw for Channel, whichever one I need, getting rid of the Gargaroth and one of these swamps. It's the Entomb? Oh. I guess my thought is, I guess I don't want to go for the Shallow Grave, so I'm trying to do as much land as possible. Because I need an extra green, I wonder. Maybe I want, but it's like, I guess there's like, maybe I draw Mana Morphos, and in which case I still need 3 mana, so on turn 3 I can Wishclaw and a channel, but I really think I should have gotten rid of a swamp there. Play Talisman. Next turn I have channel and the win. Assuming the problem is they're black blue, and so I'm like, oh, they got a counter spell. Oh, I'm gonna be so dead. But I tap out, so it's Force of Negation, Force of Will, or Bust, and they have to do it on my channel. Here we go. Grab the channel. Use the channel. Emrakul. Game over. Like, yeah. At first I was like, what do they have? What can they have? Oh no. So if it was a Shallow Grave, then it's like, oh, they can slowly rebuild and kill me. But since it was a channel, it stays out there. And it's like, what are you going to play? So this is interesting in that I only have half the combo, and I don't have a card to find the other half of the combo. But the Sensei's Divining Top allows me to look at the top 3, which is 4 more looks after my draw for an extra combo piece. That's a lot of looks. And this Greenstone Zenith allows me to shuffle my library and look at another 3 if I don't have it on top. So I'm like, between all those looks, I think I'm okay to find some other piece of the combo. Whether it's the Shallow Grave version or the channel version, or, you know, an Imperial Seal to find the channel, Wishclaw Talisman, etc., etc. Once again, because my deck is sort of like, so here I Divining Top. I sort of, so let's look at that for a second. So because I'm like, oh, I don't like these cards, I definitely should have put Iona's Prowler on the top. I don't need any more land, and if I shuffle, I won't be able to keep when I'm playing on the top. So I want the Iona's Prowler because then if I find a Shallow Grave after a reshuffle with the Zenith, then I have the Prowler discard outlet to the Shallow Grave. But I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't need this. Any order. I need multiple mana if I'm going to be survival of the fittest thing into channeling. So I'm like, uh-oh. So this Thief of Sanity is both good and bad. It's bad in that it will be hitting me and giving them value, but it's good in that, like, if I don't want the top cards in my deck, I can get rid of them via the Thief of Sanity. So here the plan is to look at the top 3 cards of my deck. Greenstone Zenith, shuffle them away, look at the top 3 cards again, put the best card on top, and then when they attack with Thief, switch my Senseis for the best card, and hopefully I can win from there. So I'm going to look now, just in case, you know, that 3rd card from the top that I now have access to is Channel or Shallow Grave. It's not. So I'm like, oh, I would have an Ula's Prowler, which gives me more chance to win. And then I see Eureka and Gargaroth, so I just want that Eureka. I hate that I'm going to be giving them a Gargaroth via the Thief, which will be castable for them next turn. But I feel like if I Eureka both my ELDRAZI, it's like they have to have Toxic Deluge, because Damnation won't kill Emrakul. Now, I do then have to be worried about Control Magic, etc., but, you know, so then they throw a Ninja, and I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, boy, now they don't have to pay for it. They get it for free. Once again, I'm not too worried, because I'm about to yeet out to ELDRAZI, but there's a lot of ways that this could go wrong for me. Like, they have, you know, Treachery or whatever. Well, I mean, I guess they can only Treachery the Kozilek. So I still have the Emrakul, and then this is one of the few times where Eureka does not backfire. And it could. They're playing black and blue, which are traditional reanimate colors. They could very easily have a Gristlebrand or something big that I've just enabled for them. But I don't get punished. I'm playing ELDRAZI, and my deck is very good. It has multiple accesses to affect a combo. It has multiple pieces of all stages of the combo, reanimate things or ways to get the big thing out, multiple big things, and multiple ways to find either piece that you need. So it's like, and it all happens fast. So you'd be hard pressed. This deck is very good. So don't like this. Yeah, I have Emrakul, but it's the wrong Emrakul. Don't have any way to activate it. Here, I like this better. I have the Entomb. All I need is either the Shallow Grave or the Channel. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep this, and I think I'll get rid of the Greenstone Zenith. So the Night's Whisper gives me 2 more shots at finding the missing piece of what I need. So I'm like, oh no, blue, that's what I hate. So I play my Mana Dork, which I'm lucky to get. Woo, what are they? I'm like, there's so many ways this can go bad for me. So the Oust, I'm like, okay, slows me down, but like, you know, better that than if I get, you know, an Ulamog or a Kozilek out. So now I'm just the plan is hard cast big, like expensive Emrakul. I'm like, oh, I'm once again happy that they miscalced my Devoted Druid. I don't need it. I don't want it. Better that it hits here. Now I'm just playing Mana Dorks, and this is like, you know, this is the bad side of that. But there's so many draws that I could have right now, you know. So once again, they're using all of their control really prematurely, like on my 1/1s. It's like, okay, sure. So now I'm worried because now they have enough mana. I mean, I guess they're using all their removal because they have so much of it. And now with this mana drain, they can memory and still have a lot of mana floating. So I'm like, oh boy. But they give me 7 more cards, which I am a combo deck. You do not want to give me a single extra card, let alone 7. So it's like, are you shutting me out of the game? Are you winning right now, opponent? You play a blue, but do you have another counterspell? I don't know, but I have to act like you don't. I don't want to give you another turn with all this mana, so I'm just gonna go for it. I have a backup plan of Gargaroth if this doesn't work, but right now I'm just gonna find my Emrakul. I go for Emrakul for multiple reasons. It costs me more, but I'm not gonna do anything else this turn. It does sort of throw me into miscalculation range, which is bad, but I feel like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be able to like I don't know if they have like Beast Within or whatever to destroy my Eldrazi. So I do the Shallow Grave, hoping they don't have a counterspell. I have the Gargaroth as backup, so I feel fine and I'm okay. Maybe it should have just been Kozilek, but whatever. Here I can't keep that hand. I don't want to depend on like so the strategy here would be to like Bazaar and hopefully throw the creature in the graveyard for makeshift. But because my Eldrazi shuffle themselves back in, I can't like start Bazaring until I want to get rid of 3 cards that aren't the one of the 2 that I'm drawing, or like I already have 4 mana out, and since it's card disadvantage, I have to like play. It's basically slow, is what I'm playing. Although now that I think about it, it's like turn 1 land, turn 2 Devoted Druid, turn 3. It's actually turn 3. Oh, it's a turn 3, but I have to draw it. So that is the conditional there. So I'm like, I can do better. Here I have the Manamorphose and I have the Imperial Seal. So I'm like, oh, I can Imperial Seal for one part of the combo. I have this Sensei's Divining Top A. So here, this is interesting. Not this turn, the next turn. Not this turn. Jeez. So my plan is to Manamorphose. Then I will look at the top and then Imperial Seal if there's nothing in the top 3 that I can use. If there is something in the top 3 that I can use, I can tap the top, get it, and then Imperial Seal something else. So I'm like, I need a black and whatever. So I'm like, there's an off chance that Channel is the top card of my deck. So that's 2 green, but that's a 1 in 32 chance, and then I won't be able to Imperial Seal. So I go green-black, and I draw the Channel, and I'm like, no, I could have won, and I'm hating myself. I'm hating myself so much right now. I'm just like, no, why? William, why? But I have a land, I have survival, so it's like, there's a lot of good stuff on the top of my deck, so I'm like, okay, whatever. They Glenelendra with no mana up. So what I do is, once again, I'd rather have Emrakul because I can use it before they have a chance to untap. So I get the Emrakul on top of my library, I draw it with the top, and then, I go down to 3 life. Ooh, which would be dangerous if, because they're Glenelendra, they sack it and it comes back, but they have to block their 14, and it's only a 1/1 when it comes back, so let's assume they could keep it and they could tank my Emrakul hit. They can only attack me for 1, so I'd be down to 2, which then, a Collective Brutality with that could kill me. But they'd only have 1 land, blah, blah, blah. But it's worth thinking about those things. I can't tell you how many times now I'm just looking at other, streamers that I like and where they are compared to my number of trophies. Ha 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 ha. I don't even do this full time. But it's worth thinking about those ways because I can't tell you how many times I've through the breach or shallow graves in ELDRAZI and then still lost the game because I had no follow-up. So this is like, well, I could try to draw with a Bazaar for the extra combo piece, but for channel, it's a turn 3 channel. For this makeshift mannequin, it's a turn 5. I'm like, no, I can do better. So, I keep this hand? Why do I keep this hand? Oh, no, William, questionable. I mean, I get paid off with a survival, but like, so questionable. So I'm against mono red, and they are kind of, at least to me, it looks like mono red right now, and they are mono screwed, and so I'm like, oh hey, I got very lucky, and I draw this Wishclaw Talisman. However, worth noting, I cannot channel out this Emrakul. I will not have enough life. Plus, they are red. It is very dangerous to do that because let's even say, let's say I Wishclaw Talisman. I get the channel now. I only have to channel for 13 because I'll have 2 other untapped mana next turn, so they can only deal me 2 damage. Blah 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 blah. If I'm at 3 life, even if they're completely their board is wiped, they might have a land and a lightning bolt, chain lightning, etc. in hand. And so once again, that's another way you can lose. So right now I'm thinking I need to Wishclaw for the Shallow Grave, which means I have to sort of eat damage for 2 more turns, but it's not, they're not going to deal me 13 damage in 2 turns with their current board state. So I'm not too worried about it. I could go Imperial Seal here, but once again, it's like I don't want to lose the life. So they attack, they're dealing me more damage. I go down to 7. Oh no, ow, please, no, don't. And then I draw the Shallow Grave, so I'm like, okay, sure, love it. So the plan is to Imperial Seal Emrakul, and then after that, if they still have Fighting Spirit in them, to then Makeshift Mannequin the Emrakul on a subsequent turn. So I'm finding whatever, it really doesn't matter. Also the Gargaroth, they've had enough. They don't want to. I mean, if they have burn, it's not an unwinnable game from there, because as far as they know, I will be out of steam after I do the Emrakul. So if you're on the receiving end of that, don't concede. I can't tell you, once again, I can't tell you how many times I've lost after doing what I just did. So do not give up. If you have burn or like 1 mana white spell. So here I'm like, okay, I can survival down and get the channel out something. So here we go. Playing. They haven't played anything yet, so I'm assuming like, okay, they're a small deck. They've kept red-white open. I think they have a Path or a Swords. Like either they had the weirdest hand ever, or they have a Path or Swords. They let their guard down for a turn. I'm like, interesting. And then I get Shallow Grave. So I'm like, oh, okay. Next turn, I can't quite survival Shallowing Grave because like I have to discard something with a green, discard another thing with a green, and then get it. So I'm still a turn off. And I draw Eureka, which is like, bleh. So I'm like, what are they doing that they're keeping so much mana up? I think they have an answer. I think they have counterplay. And so I'm like, this really needs to be Emrakul specifically. So of course I go for it, Emrakul. And once again, cannot channel. Even though I technically would have 1 life if I wanted to pay 2, channel, pay 2, and then 13 life. That is not the strategy here. That will get you burned to death. So Emrakul, Shallow Grave, and then if it has to, my Elves of Deep Shadow can be the follow up, and then we don't see it, but they leave a, where is it? Let's see if I can get this, the last little bit of this. I just want to talk about this for a second because it's very important, especially because I've been in that place too. Yeah, sometimes lucky. So it's a thing of like, okay. I get it sucks. I get it sucks to lose to this, but you're playing in a game of Vintage Cube. In the first 4 turns, you've played a 3-1. Like what are you expecting? Even if I wasn't a combo deck. 2, Magic is a game of luck. For good and for bad. Luck allows us to beat people that are better than us, but it also means we will lose to people worse than us. If you don't want to play a game with variance, if you're going to get angry when the luck happens, there's so many other games to play. And I have to tell myself this sometimes. There are plenty of deterministic games out there. Like, go ham in it. And, once again, if you even don't like luck, but you still want to play Magic, play a less swingy format. Vintage Cube, there's so many things that you just can't beat. You won't beat. There are nut drops that they're just invincible. So it's like play the core set, limited, which tends to be slower, you know, or like even poppers can get kind of brutal now. But there's other things that you can do, and so I don't know. The sometimes lucky. I get the sentiment, and I get tilted off all the time myself as well, but you really got to protect yourself when you're playing Magic, just because it's so easy to get negative. But we're playing a game with luck, so you have to celebrate the luck even when it is against you. So, you know, good game, opponent, despite that. And the thing is, my opponent saw that I was using things that let me find anything in my library. It's not like I drew it naturally. I found it with other cards, so the savvy Magic player would be like, oh, okay, they have a lot of ways to do this. It wasn't just like the perfect nut draw. They did have to do a little bit of work for it. So maybe they drafted so that is the work that their deck does. I'm betting that they had a Path to Exile in hand, and of course, that would tilt me as well if I was on the other end of it. But that's also why I don't like to play little dirtly creature decks in Vintage Cube. I'd rather be the one doing what I did. So that's all 3 Eldrazi. A great game and a great reminder to stay positive. And if you want to help me stay positive in this endeavor, hey, like, comment, and subscribe. A lot of people have been leaving real nice comments lately, and it means a lot to me. This was also one of the fastest Vintage Cube drafts I've ever done, because the deck was so strong that I got lucky in the draft portion, but it's so strong that I also found that value. So bye everyone, catch you on the next one.